It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. The Nimble with Numbers team presents Chalked Blocked with Bo Big Time McBrayer.
I gotta know what a $5 shake tastes like.
That's hot. That's hot.
I want winning, folks. You don't know diddly.
And his partner, Scott Stag Simpson.
Do you know who I am?
Trying to put Tiger Bomb on this jungle's nuts.
That's cute. I remember when I had my first beer.
I gotta catch a glimpse of these warlocks. Let's make a move. Let's make a move. Let's make a move.
Hey, you guys, welcome back to Chalk Blocked on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Now we're part of iRadio USA. My goodness, is this a good night to have a show? We're sponsored by Hotbox Gourmet Hot Sauce. That's coming from BigTimeFlavorCo.com. Hotbox, considered by many, including its creator, this guy here, to be the world's most deliciously intense condiment. Get you some at hotboxbatch.com or bigtimeflavor.com. I own both domains. And if you enter the promo code CHALK21 at checkout, 10% off. Make sure you check out the Big Time Bundle, which is all 4 products at a discount. Get you some flavor on the dinner table. Well, that's Scotty Stacks over there. I mean, he's a magnificent specimen. We know him. That's Scotty Stacks, and he's got his hot hand right hovering over that PayPal to Bo button.
You guys gonna pay you already, Bo? It's like future payments of my losses.
I know your fingers just shaking, trembling over the button all the time, just from like PTSD. And that is Jordan, the mathematician, Bannock.
Swag Daddy. Look.
The lead math magician.
He's got a Super Mario Brothers cup.
Yeah, you know, the
I'm
green
sure he's
screen
got
Yoshi.
Sun in there. Hopefully it's Pacific Cooler. Cooler. He prefers 3.14159.265 over pecan or pumpkin pie.
I actually, dude, my grandma makes this chocolate pie that is so freaking good. She only makes it once a year during Thanksgiving. It's so freaking good.
I'm getting hungry. I mean, listen, it's not the only pie that's out there in the market right now. Emily's pies are taking
cornbread. You want some cornbread? I got cornbread.
Bo's got cornbread. Dave Poogie, his wife Emily, makes some amazing pies. Like, she is like a pie aficionado. So check her out, man. Her pies. I don't know if I'm allowed to like as many of the pies as I'm liking, because I feel like I'm neglecting Dave, and so don't tell Dave. So
yeah, no, Emily's pies. If you saw the Scott Fishbowl one.
Oh, that's the one I saw.
That thing was so sick. I don't know. I mean, I am no artist. I can't draw a straight line for the sake of my life. But the fact that she could do that with food blows my mind. I mean, it's not as good as some of the hot box seasoning. But if you guys partnered up, we're thinking you got breakfast, lunch, dessert, dinner, everything. I don't know why I said dinner before dessert, but hey, or dessert before dinner. But hey, we're here. It's okay.
Yeah, and I like what Bethany said that hot
order optional.
I like how she said that hot sauce helps you lose weight. Yeah, I'm going to go with that too. Get yourself some Bo's hot sauce and then lose a little bit of weight as you doubt your delicious food that you're eating. Probably shouldn't be eating, but yeah, I don't know about that, Bethany. That's it. We have to test that. We'll test that and let you know.
It doesn't help if you put it over an entire large pizza to your own face, and then you growl at anybody who wants to share with you.
That's me, Bo. You're talking about me.
Yeah, that's not a good way to lose weight.
No, I have lost 15 pounds, so I'm pretty excited about that. And listen, you should go to get your hot box at bigflavorco.com. It is delicious. I'm going to be ordering myself some. We also, by the way, this is not just an all ad read show, but there is a tease later. There's some big news on the horizon later in the show. Stick around. We're going to be teasing it up. We'll do that in the second half. I know.
Such a tease.
I'm such a
tease.
And speaking of teases, I noticed today that you and Scott Fish were going back and forth. A little bit teasing going on with you guys about you getting into the Scott Fish Bowl. What's going on there with you and Scott Fish?
Yeah, so Scott and I go way back to last year when I got into SFBX. I was towards the end of the invitation cycle that time too, but Scott Fish apparently is a big time fan of hot sauce in general. So I sent him a bottle of hot sauce and he loved it and he promoted it. And that really did launch Hotbox into a new stratosphere. And he hooked me up with Shane Battier, the NBA player, who liked it himself, and it was so super cool. And of course, the Scott Fish Bowl coming around again this year. It's just an incredible tournament. The podathon that they're going to have for 24 hours straight, raising money for Toys for Tots. That's what that's all about. The tournament itself, the contest itself is free. It's all about the charity. You want to raise money, donate as much as you can. The Scott Fish Bowl was built around charity, built around giving, and it just happens to feature some of the best minds in fantasy football out there. Did I belong in there last year? Highly doubtful. I applied. I think I was ID number 220. I was one of the first people to put in for SFB 11. And pretty much everybody in my group chat has gotten an invitation so far, except for me. So I'm gonna take a little fun liberty with Scott and send him a pickled-tini on Twitter and send him good vibes that way. Because even if I don't get the invite, I don't care. I'm gonna still donate. I'm still gonna donate 100% of my profits from BigTimeFlavorCode.com during the podathon to the Fantasy Cares. Because that tournament means more to me than playing fantasy football. It's all about the cause that it's for. Scott Fish and Ryan McDowell put this together for charity and charity's sake alone. And just the football side of it's just bonus. That's a bonus. That getting together and interacting and socializing with new people on Twitter and elsewhere. That's a lifelong thing. I still have friends that I met from my division in Scott Fish Bowl 10. That's what it's all about. It's just making friends. And I'll probably apply for the satellite if I don't get into the main thing, because I just want to be a part of it.
Yeah. No, I love it. Brad just jumped in and says he's donating. Even if he doesn't get in, he's donating. I think that's the key, really, is that it can feel sad if you don't get in. I had a friend last year didn't get in. He was like, I feel like I'm missing out. You know what? The truth is, even if you're not in, you can be a part of it on Twitter by sharing in the experience of donating, of caring for others. Fantasy Cares, great organization that has donated thousands of toys to kids who are in need. Listen, I've got kids. I know Bo has a daughter, and Jordan maybe one day is going to have kids. When you have kids, toys make them so happy. I'm going to make my kids.
Jordan is our honorary son.
Jordan,
To be fair, when I was in my time at UCF and ZBT, our partner charity was the Children's Miracle Network, and we would do a Toys for Tots drive during the Christmas time, and I think as a fraternity we got like 156 toys donated and raised for Children's Miracle Network during Night Dawn, which is UCF's main fundraiser. We would get about 40K raised, which is just great for the cause. And just, as a school, we would get like 2 million. It was just nice to be a part of the whole thing, to be honest.
Yeah, no, that's excellent. And being on the other side of it, where my daughter has received toys or gifts or iPads through charities, man, it means a lot. And to the point where we have now, Hope for Henry is a cancer-based charity that's local here in DC that we're working with, and we're able to now be my wife's on the board of parents and advisors to dictate how they spend that money and how they use that to help kids, and pick the toys that they want to have. It's a real special thing to be able to care for kids who are in need. And so Scott Fish, Ryan McDowell, you guys are awesome. If you get into Scott Fish or not, man, follow those guys, give them a shout out, donate, whatever you donate to, whatever your charity is, send them, let them know, just say, hey, I'm donating. I'm thinking of you, and hopefully you get in. And if not, you can put a 1/5, Pete Oversett's doing this fractionalization of everything. you can fractionalize my team. I'll give you 1/5 of my team for free, and then you can watch me make the playoffs and lose in the first round again, like I did last year. So it'll be a fun ride for sure. But yeah. But by the way, Jordan got in today, and congratulations. I know we don't want to tread on Bo there, but my man Jordan got in first time. Tell us what you're feeling right now, Jordan. How you feeling?
I mean, I was super stoked to get in. I was shocked, surprised, and also just looking forward to it. I mean, I had my charity contest I'm doing for the mock draft or the NFL draft, and the Scott Fish Bowl is something I've always heard about but never been a part of. And now that I'm getting into this content and also getting into the fantasy industry and learning more about it, it was something I really wanted to be a part of this year. So, and I'm excited. I can't wait. I hope we have a fun time. I even put that I wanted to be in G-Man Jay's division. He is the famous celebrity that I want to be a part of.
He's your celebrity.
Yeah,
he's your celebrity.
That's exactly what I put. Because I mean, at the end of the day, everybody wants to put Matthew Berry, but I want to play
the same
someone
size as Kevin Hart. So I mean, have you ever seen G-Man Jay and Kevin Hart in the same room together?
No,
I mean,
I have not.
So.
They see eye to eye.
Size.
But it's just I'm excited, man. I hope we have a good time. I know the rule changes and everything that I'm not used to will be something to definitely think about. Flexing kickers seems like a fun time. I'll say that.
That's kind of the idea. If you don't know anything about Scott Fish, he's a diabolical little fucker when it comes to the rules. Last year, the rules for quarterbacks were insane. Like, we're talking -1 per incompletion, -6 for interceptions. It was insanity. Like, you could put up a 50 burger or a -30 burger at a quarterback position. So it was super flex, but sometimes if you had a bad quarterback, you'd almost rather just put in like a random flex guy in the super flex, because if you had Sam Darnold or somebody with the Jets or Andy Dalton, then you were in very big danger of getting negative points from your super flex position. I unfortunately drafted really well until about week 5, because I had my 2 quarterbacks were Dak Prescott and Joe Burrow. And once they both went down, I was screwed. I started CJ Beathard 2 weeks.
That is ugly. I'm so sorry. My brother did that in our Superflex Dynasty League, actually. He still has Burrow and Dak, which is nice going forward. Oh, see, that's my friend. That's the Jared I was telling you about before the show.
Numbers never lied. Thanks for the...
Love it, man. We got fans everywhere of Bo's Hot Sauce. It's going to be global eventually. You're going to run into people, across the globe, and they're just going to be like, Bo, I know him. I know Bo.
And it's not going to be because
stores and some restaurants.
I was going to say it's not going to be because you take.
Can we talk about the draft? I mean, did you guys? Yeah, Scott.
Yes.
Wait, we're going to talk about the draft now.
Okay, fine.
It is 6 days away. Are you guys ready?
I'm not ready.
It's 6 days away.
Yeah, I'm not ready at all.
My mind's changing every day.
The anticipation is mounting. Like Cooter Doodle, we love her. She's a friend of the show. She's one of the best people in the world. She was talking about edging earlier in the week, and that's what it feels like leading up to the NFL draft, is that we're all just edging. We're all just waiting to climax. And we're just holding off 6 days left. And, I mean, it's turning me into a neurotic mess because, I mean, my team has a top 10 pick. Jordan's team has a top 10 pick. Scott, you're like a lost puppy without a team these days. I mean, you just hope the world burns down at the first 10 picks.
Scott's like, kill him on over Justin
Fields. No,
I want something to happen. Before you jump into Jordan, let me say, this is what I want to happen. I want my man, Kyle Pitt, to go to Atlanta and become part of the trio of super receiving core for my man Matty Ryan. That's all I want. That's all. Matty Ice. That's it. That's all I want. Okay, back to Jordan.
I mean, so as a Panthers fan, I'm sitting here at 8 and I'm looking at it, and like before I found out about we haven't picked up Sam Darnold's 5th-year option, I was like, let's take Slater, trade back, Slater, trade back, Slater, trade back. But now, with me realizing that knowledge, if Fields or Lance falls to us at 8, we just take him. Just take the quarterback. Don't think about it. And if that isn't the case, then move back to where New England or, even New England wants to go and take whoever they're at 12, because the Carolina Panthers GM came out today and said we have 16 first-round grades, and that's it. So we're not trading back past 16 from that knowledge. And if he uses other knowledge, I'll be very upset with him. But I don't think we're getting past 16. And I think that, I love what Matt Rule's done.
One of them is Kadarius Toney, so.
Please, God, no. But we with the new GM, it's going to be pretty exciting. We have Panthers in the last 13 years, since like 2017, 2004, 67% of our first round picks have gotten that second contract. So we've been really good in the first round. We just haven't necessarily nailed the rest of the draft. I'm not worried about the first round.
So who do you want to see if there's not a quarterback on the board and the quarterback gets scooped up, it goes 1, 2, 3, quarterback, and even Atlanta maybe changes the script and goes quarterback. So first 4 picks are QBs. What do you want the Panthers to do, and what position are you looking to have them fill? Is it offense? Their defense struggled at times last year as well. Where are you leaning, and what do you think the team will do? So kind of question for you, and then in the role of what you actually think will happen.
I think we're going to go Slater if he's there. I think the fact that he can play guard and tackle is huge, because Greg Little is another guy like that. And I think we'll use him the way that Laramie Tunsil was used for the Dolphins early on and plug him in at guard. And if we need to move him to tackle, we'll move him over there. What I want us to do is to trade back with New England. And if basically the 3 players that I would be looking at is Micah Parsons, J.C. Horn, or Christian Darrisaw from Virginia Tech, because I don't think Slater gets that far. Those are the 3 players that I would love to trade back and get. And, New England trading up for a quarterback or Devontae Smith be perfect for us. Yeah. And acquire that second and third. Because I know people we want future first and that and this and that. This class is so much better than next year. Next year is such a big question mark for me. I don't like a lot of those kids. And like this past year doesn't hurt this class as much. It hurts next year because we get so many less games that they needed to grow, and especially from the Pac-12 and Big Ten.
I know there is some Pac-10 venom and animosity between, Mr. Jordan and Mr. Bo. I don't want to derail the show, but where is that coming from? Because honestly, I turn the TV off after the Alabama or the SEC game, whatever it is, and football's over on Saturday, like God intended it to be. But Bo doesn't, apparently. He watches other games and stuff. So what's the beef here between you and
on the best coast? Yeah, but on the best coast, the games don't get over until like 10:30. So they start at 7:30 my time or 7 o'clock my time. You guys are off cuddled up in your bed with your honey bunnies, and I'm watching football because it's not bedtime yet. Like I can drink warm milk at 8 o'clock and go to bed like you guys, but Pac-12 is where it's at, just like Duffy says.
Oh man, Duff's all over that. He loves that. Okay, so you and Brad are together, the Pac-12 boys.
My guy.
Yeah, and then we got some, I'm an ACC guy. I went to Maryland. I graduated from the University of Maryland. Go Terps. I don't follow them, though. I'm not a religious Terp. Here's the thing. I did follow them when I went to Maryland. I would go to every single football game, basketball game. We beat Clemson one time, and we stormed the field. And then we tore down the goalposts, and all my friends got on SportsCenter. And then, surprise, surprise, some of them got confronted by the pastor at my church because they were on the goalposts, partying it up down at
Maryland.
Maryland.
Bunch of crab cake and eating idiots out there.
My favorite, though, is
Oh, my God. What is this?
Circle of suck for the Pac-12. I love it. It's awesome.
That's insanely creative and also very wrong.
Oh my gosh!
I gotta hand you that one. That one's good.
You're stealing the show single-handedly here. I love it, buddy. Anyway, long story short, I don't disagree with Jordan's take. I don't think the Pac-12 is a real conference. I think it's a Nike uniform distribution center. But no, I kid. Talk about Oregon, Bo, and why you love the Ducks. I don't know your origin story because you're not from, Oregon. You're from California. So I want to know what's going on there.
So, as you might know, geographically, California is massive. And I grew up hating the big city. I grew up in the middle of nowhere. My hometown's 7,000 people, and I grew up on the outskirts of that town. Like, I grew up in the mountains, foothills. Like, we didn't like the city. So the teams in the Bay, like Cal and Stanford, that was like, whatever, not really cool. Southern California is like 7 hours drive away from where I'm from. So it definitely wasn't on our radar. So I grew up hating USC with a passion. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't know that Northern California is closer to Oregon than it is to Southern California. And the University of Oregon is in Eugene, which is in Central Oregon, which is only about a 4-hour drive. And I have family up in Oregon that we visited every year. So they lived closer to Eugene. I grew up rooting for the Ducks. And so even when I went to Chico State, which when I went there didn't have a football team, they still don't. They haven't had one since 94, which means Chico State football is undefeated since 1994. So I got to continue rooting for Oregon football all the way through today. And Pac-12 football is just something I've followed my whole life. And Oregon is getting stronger and stronger. Mario Cristobal is one of the best coaches and recruiters in the entire nation. He came from Alabama, where, that Saban vaulted him to that position. But it was his excellence at that position that got him where he is now. And Oregon's putting out top 5 recruiting classes every year because of Mario Cristobal. And, of course, the Nike connection is pretty cool, too.
Yeah, I could talk all day about Mario. He's one of the all-time favorites from Bama. There's a few coaches that have come through that system. Cristobal is one of them. And, as a UCF fan, I can't say that I didn't love when Scott Frost came to our team and got us Nike. Nike to UCF was definitely like an awesome thing. And in a sense, we built like a mini Oregon from a Power 6 conference. Oregon is one of those teams that I'll definitely root for because one of my best friends is a huge Oregon fan. The only thing that I regret in my entire history was, arguing Tua and Herbert last year. That one got the worst, got the ugliest side of me, and I regret that. And I'll formally apologize to Mr. Justin Herbert. He proved me wrong, and he is totally not what I saw on film. And also, I look forward to seeing what Keenan Allen does this year. I'll say that, guys.
Yeah. Yes, I'm a big Keenan Allen guy. Also, it's a great time to plug a new
Mr.
podcast.
Charger.
Yeah,
Mr. Charger over here.
Podcast I'm working on, Guilty as...
Have you ever even been to Los Angeles?
I have been, Bo. You better stop that. Guilty as Charged podcast. I am their new fantasy football guru, as they say. And so Bo can laugh all he wants, but I'll be paying him with the money they pay me. So you can stop laughing now.
You might have to, hey, it's okay. Do not let it be beneath you to send me a DM asking about Justin Herbert because I know everything there is to know about Justin Herbert. Thanks. You're welcome.
Oh, I love it. That's awesome. Well, honestly, when it comes to the draft, and Bo kind of hinted, I don't have a team. I don't have a team that I go for each year. And friend asked in the comments there, who's your team? I don't have a team. I root for football. I love football. I want to see the best players get on the best teams, be used in the best systems, maximized. I want every coach to be proficient, and I want it to be just excellence, really, on the field. But it's not going to be that. We have some terrible coaches over the years. Well, we have a bunch of new coaches. We have a bunch of new coordinators this year. We'll see how it turns out. This is a really interesting year with a lot of turnover. And then I don't know how that's going to work out in the draft, but it's going to be a very exciting draft. I'll tell you, the one person that I'm most excited about and seeing where he goes is Rashad Bateman. Bateman is a comparable to Keenan Allen, who you mentioned earlier, and I like his skill set. I do believe, I don't want to say there was COVID concerns, I believe, last year, different things going on. I hope that none of those things are being, now as he's going in, he looks fine and he's a little lighter. We talked about that before, but I'm hoping that none of those things linger. And we saw that, with Zeke, Cam last year as well. I'm hoping that all those players, just for their health's sake, are back to being world class and healthy. So real potential for him to bust out. Anybody else that you guys, maybe not Panthers or Cowboys, Bo and Jordan, but just guys that you're looking forward to drafting and seeing where they land?
Bo, you can start.
I love, and this might be a shocker to both of you, but I love Penei Sewell. Penei Sewell is a generational talent at left tackle. He's an anchor. He's stronger than an ox. He could probably beat an ox up right now. He's just a monster. He's fast. Yeah, he's 330 pounds, and he's fast and quick and strong. And his technique is this. His technique is perfect. The guy missed one blocking assignment in his entire Oregon career. One blocking assignment. Yeah, and he's that good.
Not just that, but he gets off of his initial block, gets to the next level, and his second
destroys another one.
And destroys another. He will, with one hand, hold off somebody so they don't get in a gap. And then with his other hand, he will shove a man down on the ground and pancake. You're just like, oh, shoot. How do you do that? So, Bo, I'm with you 100%. Where do you think he's going to go? You think he's going to go to Cincinnati? That would be the best thing for Joe Burrow.
Yeah, and unfortunately, they're probably going to take Jamar Chase if he's there because they feel like they have Jonah Williams coming back healthy at left tackle, and they might be able to go get that extra skill guy that they don't necessarily need, but weapons are always good in this league. And especially, I mean, if you're a quarterback like Joe Burrow who has a quick release, who has the wherewithal and smarts to get the ball out of his hands and move around the pocket, I don't know that they need Sewell as much as people say they do because Jonah Williams is a stud. He's a first-round pick himself, absolute game breaker when he's on the field. And so if they're saying, hey, Jonah's progressing nicely with it coming off his injury, then yeah, let's go after Jamar Chase. That's another stud wide receiver that we can pair with T. Higgins. We can pair with Tyler Boyd for one more year until his contract comes up. They can make a run because that team's pretty well built the last couple of years.
I love it. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're up against a break. We'll take a 3-minute commercial break. When we come back, we're going to get into Jordan and who he is looking forward to being drafted. And then also, we're going to have Jordan unpack a little bit about his story and about DFS and kind of how he came to be who he is and where he's at right now. Excited to hear from him and his perspective. We are Chalk Block. We are on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. We'll be back in about 3 minutes.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Actually, we'll be interviewing as a team. We're here to shit up.
Now back to Chalk Block with Bo and Scott.
Move it.
Check it out, you're now rocking with the best.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to Chalk Block. I am Scott, Nibble W Numbers on Twitter. I did forget to pump us when we first got started. You can follow me on the tweeters, like I just mentioned, Nibble W Numbers, Jordan Bannock 1, Bo _ McBigtime. Please, I just hit 6,500. I'm so excited. Thank you, Bo. About to hit 3,000. Let's get Bo to 3,000 this weekend. I think he got like 30, 40 followers today. Doing great.
29 left.
29 left. He can do it. I know he can. So
he's counting, really. He's counting followers. Couldn't be me.
I don't do that stuff either.
It's probably 2,900 too many.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm thankful for every single person who follows me, and it's not a status thing for me. It's something that I have needed this year just to be loved and cared about by people, and I appreciate it. And I mean,
we love you, Scott.
Yeah, I've been in a hard, life situation, and so all those people are people who've loved and cared for me. I appreciate them very much. One of them, though, is Mr. Jordan Bannock. He follows me. I follow him. Yeah, one of my friends here on the Twitters. Jordan, you have somebody that you were teasing. We were reading about it in the private chat. I'm excited to hear about your guy. Talk about who you want to see drafted and where you want to see them drafted.
So Brad in here in the chat already put out Elijah Moore, but Elijah Moore is my guy this year. He's been my guy since college football DFS this past season. I've learned a lot about him, and people forget his freshman year, he was with DK Metcalf and AJ Brown, and he still performed at a pretty high level.
Dawson Knox was there too.
Yeah, and DeMarcus Lodge too, as well. Another receiver from Ole Miss who got drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then you look at this past year was the first year with Lane Kiffin, and Lane Kiffin's career as a coordinator, as an offensive coach, when he usually gets the guy the ball that often, that guy usually goes and produces in the NFL. Whether it's Nelson Aguilar, Robert Woods, Amari Cooper, obviously it's a wide variety of where they're going to be. But Elijah Moore in the slot playing outside some, I think he has all the tools and talents. He's from South Florida. South Florida receivers are just kind of killing it lately.
They're built different.
Yeah, no, he could just get open at such a high level. And personally, I know the fit is going to be in Green Bay and everybody's going to want that. And I want that because that would just be such a fun piece to have. I've been thinking the Chargers in the second round, if in the first round they have the Slater or Darrisaw fall to them, and being able to mix with him and Keenan Allen in the slot, playing around with that, Mike Williams on the outside doing the jump ball. It would be a fun offense, and I think that spot with him and Herbert getting to mesh together would be amazing because it's a dude that can actually take a slant to the house, but also just gets so open so often.
Yeah. And I love Elijah Moore. I love the guy on tape. I'm a big tape guy. Analytics-wise, he's pretty solid too. I mean, the only thing that you're looking at that might be a down marker on him is his versatility, being able to play the X at 5'9". But at the same time, this league is changing where you can see a guy like Tyreek Hill or a guy just that's not 6 feet tall go and play just about anywhere because of their speed and agility and ability to get open. These quarterbacks are throwing timing-based routes these days to where if it breaks down, you are looking for a little guy underneath to just take the ball and do something with it. And I've had a couple tough decisions in dynasty rookie drafts the last couple of days where I'm sitting at 202 in the rookie draft, and I'm trying to decide between Elijah Moore and Terrace Marshall Jr., and I love both of them. And I pretty much flipped a coin yesterday when I was left with that choice and I think the determining factor was my roster construction as it was. I had a couple other bigger bodied receivers on my team that were that X alpha guy, and I didn't really have any of those speed guys that could bust a big, huge day like Elijah Moore. So I picked Elijah Moore over Terrace Marshall Jr., and of course, Terrace Marshall Jr. went the very next pick, and I think the guy behind me at 203 was thanking his lucky stars because he hit that button so fast. And that made me feel terrible because I immediately regretted taking Elijah Moore, even though I love the guy.
Terrace Marshall, the big thing that scares me about him is that leg injury and the medical history. That's something that I've heard different reports on, and I'm not too certain. Receivers,
6'2" is a stud like that. His high point ability, his ball skills are insane. Yeah, and him and Jamar Chase both are just like you throw it up, and it doesn't matter how big the corner is or how physical the corner is, they're going to win the ball. And that's a trait that you really want at the next level is that I want the damn ball. Give me the ball. If it's in the red zone, you better be finding me. That's why I like Mike Evans so much is, you put all their measurables on a piece of paper next to another wide receiver who's faster, quicker, taller, can jump higher. It just matters. If you throw it up in a 50-50 situation, who's going to win the ball and who's going to score the touchdowns. So a guy like Mike Evans is extremely valuable because he wins the ball. He takes the ball and he scores touchdowns and he makes big plays. And it's a pretty simple way to win fantasy football, scoring more touchdowns than your opponent.
Agreed.
Well, speaking of scoring more than your opponent, that's what DFS is all about. Whatever your contest you're in, you're trying to outpace the folks that you're up against in your GPP, in your head-to-head, in your 50-50, whatever it is. What we want to know from you, Mr. Vanek, as you join the Nimble team here, what is your background? Where are you kind of content specific with your plays, your builds? How do you kind of account for your rise in the DFS world?
So when I first started out in here, I was very 2-game slate oriented, and now it takes a lot of film study. The smaller the slate, the more film study I do is kind of my personal vendetta with it, because it's all about usually one big play. And the first year that I had a big contest hit was the year the Patriots were playing the Ravens and the Cowboys and Giants were playing on Sunday night. Cowboys were 14-2 that year, lost to the Giants twice. And I, during that week, I watched a lot of Ravens film because the Patriots are very, oh, you're not good at this? We're going to attack that. That's all we're going to do the whole game. Get ready for it. And Jimmy Smith was falling to double moves, and I noticed Chris Hogan was that guy that would, get that double move type of route, and he caught a 60-yard touchdown that was, I think, 12% owned on a 2-game slate, and I locked him in 100% of my lineups, and it's just like, okay, that's a huge day. And this past year, the biggest curve for me is learning what season this is. And what I mean by that is like the pricing doesn't necessarily change for DraftKings. They usually, top guys are certain price salaries and just whatever. So like the tight end position this past year was the position I was taking most advantage of because people kept hammering Hunter Henry and Evan Ingram and just guys that consistently never did what you wanted them to do. And I was just sitting there, I was taking Jordan Akins at 2,500 or Darren Waller, Travis Kelce. And if Kittle was alive, then Kittle. I didn't play with any of those mid-range guys, and it led me to a lot of success. And, every week's different in DFS. Every year is different. You can't go in with the same strategy, especially like I know people think the tight end position is very down, and I agree that it is. We've also had a lot of injuries to it and a lot of guys that have just kind of, quarterback injuries that are that tight end, like, Philly. Look at Zach Ertz and, Carson Wentz. Like when Zach Ertz was that guy, it was, the tight ends were awesome, the big three. And I mean, if Ertz goes to Indy, like, then we get Ertz and Indy. We have Kittle healthy in San Fran with possibly a new quarterback. And then you have, the other guys. I don't think tight end position is going to be the one to take advantage of. I think the one to be most fun this year is going to be quarterback because there's just so many guys that run. It's just so much.
So much fun.
So much fun. So much fun. So this year, as you approach kind of where you've been and where you're heading, are there any kind of just as you look out over the landscape, any things you're kind of thinking about or focusing on your attention as you kind of get your knowledge built and get your understanding of what's going to happen this season?
The big thing is where these, right now I study a lot of who improved on the defensive side of the ball and who fake improved, because there's going to be teams like, for example, the Cardinals. Everybody's, JJ Watt is on the Cardinals with Chandler Jones. It's awesome. Go get him. Guess what? Those DBs couldn't cover a flag football team in the neighborhood over here. the DBs for the Cardinals, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, okay, week 1, if they go up against like the Seahawks, they make that a big thing because, primetime game type of, or not even primetime, like 425, awesome highlighted game. Give me Tyler Lockett or DK Metcalf, Russell Wilson stack. I'm going to be hammering that. I don't care how bad Russell Wilson's O-line is. He doesn't need people to block. So I focus mainly right now on the early edge and guys I could see being underpriced like Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen's going to be my probably favorite play, just like Devontae Adams was last year, unless they draft a high-end receiver. It really depends on what this rookie draft kind of shapes up to be, because like early on in the year, you don't want to miss on receiver. Late end of the year, you don't want to miss on running back. I just pulled some data the other day about how many receivers got 10-plus targets, and it was less than 9 pretty much every week from like weeks 1 to 5, while at the end of the year, there were like 13, 15 receivers getting 10 or more targets, and volume is all you care about.
And if you didn't have Monty and JT at the end of the year, you were losing.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, or Derrick Henry. It was one of those three every, and trading back and forth, where Dalvin made a lot of money in the beginning of the year. If you had Cook.
Kamara, too.
Yeah.
Or my guy, Tony Pollard.
TP, wiping it up. Yeah. It was not a great season for Zeke in DFS, and hopefully his prices reflect that when we go into the season. And depending on the different matchups, Zeke could be a little bit of a value in the beginning of the year as well. He's somebody who I'm keying on, and I'm thinking about the opportunity gap. And here's what we have to think about when you go to approach a player, and I like how Bo has kind of framed it. What is the game going to be like? What does the volume look like for this player? What do the opportunities look like? Are they going to be getting red zone carries? Is this an offense that gives or defense that gives up red zone touch? What is the big picture? And Bo does a great job every week of kind of looking at that and kind of playing out in his mind what's going to happen. So, Bo, I turn that same question to you. Where are you focusing kind of your thoughts on this year as you kind of get ready to approach it?
So this year, I'm gonna go even farther into the X's and O's matchups that I've been playing on. I watch a lot of tape, and so I notice trends. I notice the types of coverages that different coordinators like to feature, especially against certain kinds of offenses or defenses. And so, if I'm looking at a team that likes to run a lot of slot action, like the Chiefs, where you have Tyreek Hill running all over back and forth, trying to get open, trying to get hidden, trying to screen the defenders around. And if I see they're going against Tampa Bay, who has probably the worst slot corner in the entire league, that game just lit up for me. I was like, okay, there's no way they're going to be able to put somebody on Tyreek Hill at slot corner. It just isn't, they don't have the personnel for it.
Right.
And so they put Carlton Davis, their best corner, and they shadowed him. And Tyreek Hill is a billion times faster than Carlton Davis. Carlton Davis is a physical type corner. He's out there trying to body people. He's a good ball skills type corner. He's not fast. And they didn't give him enough help over the top because Tyreek, once they figured out that, they're just jumping on the short routes, they would run a double move, and Carlton Davis was just eating dust. And it happened to be a historic 269-yard and 3-touchdown game that I had Mahomes and Hill and Kelsey in a stack for. And Kelsey ended up with 10 for 113 without a touchdown, but plenty of good value there. And even I ran it back with a Tampa receiver, just threw in a random Tampa. I think it was Antonio Brown who scored in the game. And that was my whole week. And I put up like 200 and some points against you that week, Scott, because I nailed that stack because I knew there was no possible way that the Tampa Bay had the personnel at that point in the season to cover Tyreek Hill. And so I'm going to go even farther into it this year and get more into the coordinators' minds. Like I'm going to say, okay, if that happened in week 7, and we went to the Super Bowl at the same matchup, how were the Tampa Bay Buccaneers successful at stopping that very thing? Well, we kind of saw it at the end of that first game where they were like, okay, Carlton Davis, you're not the guy for this job. So we're just going to run bubble zone. We're going to bubble zone and bracket Tyreek Hill. There's no way he's going to beat us. And that's when they left Kelsey open over the middle for little 5-yard dump offs 10 separate times. And it didn't kill him. They kept everything in front of them. And it makes you wonder why they didn't do that the whole game. But the game plan was, okay, let's cover Kelsey and then worry about Tyreek Hill over the top later. And it just didn't work out. But in the Super Bowl, they got the advantage of a weak offensive line with all the injuries. And they were able to put pressure, take away that deep route. Once you don't have to worry about the deep routes because the quarterback's under duress within half the amount of time, then you can sit down on those shorter routes that Kelsey was running. And it comes down to the matchups. And you have to look at what the trends are looking like, what they like to do, and what they're going to try to do. And that's it's going to come down to each player individually and the coordinator that's up against them, trying to scheme the best players out of things. And that's kind of where it led me to in week 17 with Isaiah McKenzie. I was the only one that I know of that took Isaiah McKenzie in a tournament for week 17. Most people don't even play that week. But I saw a very good possibility that Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen wouldn't play the whole game. And if they did, they weren't going to play very aggressively. And Isaiah McKenzie, I noticed from watching all the other Bills games that this guy doesn't get a lot of work, but he has his own packages in that offense. And so when you're trying to keep the ball away from Allen's hands and Diggs' hands just to keep him healthy, what are you going to do? You're going to say, okay, let's play more of these packages that we know aren't going to put our other guys in jeopardy. And so it happened to be a huge game for McKenzie there too, because they ran that package all game long and he exploded.
It reminds me of the scene in Heat when De Niro goes to meet with the guy and they're kind of talking before the bank heist, and he just says, I just pluck numbers out of the air. I just pull them. And sometimes it looks like that to the layman or to somebody who's like, man, how did Bo pull that? And it's not just, I have a gut instinct about a guy. You know, when I took Tyler Higbee in week 2 and Jordan Reed in week 2, it wasn't a gut instinct. You're reading the matchups. You're looking at what are the potential game scripts and what does it look like in this actual game. You're kind of predicting the game and getting in there and doing that. And I think that the way that Bo approached it and his philosophy and kind of same with Jordan too, and the different angles that they're looking at the games really are advantageous for finding value and then exploiting it so you can make money. And that's what we're going to do this year. That's our goal as a team, is to be studying, to be able to share with each other our insights, and to be on those guys. Like every week, we're looking for the nuts. That's the quest.
You are exploitative.
We are. And we're going to be sharpening ourselves against Twitter, against Osmo, against Empire Maker. One of my favorite things last year was we brought in all the big dogs. We had a tournament, and all the big dogs just kept sniping into our tournament. And then at one point we did it so they couldn't snipe in because we wanted just our friends in it. But the week they sniped in, we crushed them. Well, one of my friends won the tournament. Empire Maker didn't win the tournament. I beat Empire Maker that week.
Yeah,
in your face, have a taste.
I beat all of you that week. I got like 4th place. Didn't cash, but I beat all those fools.
You did.
I beat Chipotle Addict. I beat Empire Maker. I beat Baker. And it felt great because even though I didn't win any money, it validated that my build was there.
Yeah. And I'm not going to talk trash against any of those guys because they're great players.
They're awesome.
But you know what? Here's the thing that we do that's a little bit different. At least for me and Bo, we hand build. Every single lineup is a hand built. Jordan does the same thing. So not that I don't look at randomizers, I don't look at numbers, I don't look at data, or I don't have, but I build them with my little fingers, every single one. And it matters. I think it really does. And this year we're going to be hand building a bunch. We do have an announcement. We teased it earlier, and I wanted to give people a little bit of an information blast. I'm really super excited about it. I have been brought on to the Underdog Fantasy. Yeah, I'm very excited about that. And so this year coming out soon, and maybe next week, I'm not sure when it's going to drop, but we're going to have our own code. It's going to be Nimble, and we're going to be working on signing people up. We're going to be doing drafts, best ball drafts, all like best ball season. So May, June, July, we'll be doing that. We'll be doing contests in the fall. One of the cool things that Underdog has, besides the Pick'em, by the way, which is just super cool. One thing they're coming out in the fall is like single week leagues. And so think about drafting a team or drafting, against 11 of your friends for that day, for that game. And so Bo and I, we could do the Thunderdome each week on Underdog. We could go in there by ourselves and do a head-to-head, or
name the time and place, buddy. Just name the time and place.
There's going to be so much opportunity for people to be able to jump in with us, play with us, do best ball, do DFS style tournaments, do big battle royales. So there's a lot of potential for
I personally mock draft with best ball. It gives me more skin in the game. I love action. I'm all about that action, boss, just like Marshawn said. And for me, I just get so juiced up to draft because obviously it's the best part of the season. You get more excited about drafting than anything else. But you get to draft, and then it's like you don't have to do anything else. You just draft it, and you have a team, and they just do whatever they do.
Yep.
But you got skin in the game, and it's like a little bonus at the end of the year you forgot about. Like I had like 15, 20 best ball teams last year, and when half of them win, like even though half them lost, I was like, whatever. It was like $5 for a build, and then like I won like $150 out of half of my lineup. So I was like, woo!
Bo, sadly, the league that you didn't win and you couldn't have beat me was the Hot Sauce League, the kind of thing you're known for. Your boy got second to Fantasy Stoner, and I'm coming back. I'm going to get first this year. That's for sure. Scott don't mess around in the best ball. I do not. I'm super excited to play everybody. So we'll launch that code next week. Don't sign up yet. Just wait. Just wait. You sign up next week with us, and we'll get
Wait for it.
Wait for it. Hold. Jordan, we've been yipping and yapping a bunch and leaving you on the sideline. What say you about anything we've been talking about, my friend?
So the first thing that I was thinking about was when Bo was talking his DFS strategy and the term running it back with his Tampa Bay Buccaneers stack. That's actually something I absolutely love to do. And it's something that has made me a lot of money because there will be weeks where I'll, find my projected ownership based off of, Awesemo or PFF, different websites I use for the tools that I'm building, or like the thing that I build or spreadsheet. And I'll see things like, Derrick Henry is against the Jaguars and Dalvin Cook's against the Packers, and Derrick Henry against the Jaguars, tale as old as time. People are going to be, hammering him. And there was a week where I saw Derrick Henry had like 30% projected ownership and Dalvin Cook was 7. They were similar price against the Packers too. And I was like, well, I don't care how good the Packers run defense is when they've been playing nobody. It's Dalvin Cook. It's the Vikings. Their defense, their run offense is a lot different than most. So I got off of Derrick Henry and played Dalvin Cook that week. And it was Dalvin Cook with McCaffrey. And I found a way to get Devontae Adams into that lineup. Drew Lock and Jerry Jeudy was a stack of heaven that week.
Sounds familiar, huh, Scott?
I wish I made the biggest mistake where I was the bigger lineups that I was playing. I didn't forget. I accidentally edited those and made a huge mistake. But in the $3 20 entry max contest, I profited $6.50 in it. Because my lineups were just every single lineup was like $30, $20, $20, $40. And I'm like, if I played any of these in my bigger contest, I'd take them away with a lot more money.
Yeah,
but
it's a slot machine.
So running it back, and obviously the underdog fantasy has been growing huge the last, since opening. And yeah, I've seen a lot of guys over there. So I'm excited for you, Scott. You definitely will get a lot of people over there and signed up. I personally like best ball a lot too. I am not an avid best ball player. I love the idea of it, but I can't. The biggest thing is I love those in-season moves, and I can't do best ball until the rookie draft's done. I'm sorry, guys. I refuse to do it. I know people are doing it right now, and I'm like, I can't. Like, Najee Harris goes to the Bills, and the person that overdrafted Najee Harris is going to sit there and just be like, why? Why did I do it?
Hey, didn't Lane Kiffin coach Devin Singletary?
He did. He did coach Devin Singletary.
I know he did.
By the way,
I won a lot of money at FAU.
Lane Kiffin is the ex-Tennessee head coach who famously has been compared to Daniel Tosh. And because of that, Daniel Tosh hates his guts. And every time he has a chance to crap on him, he does. So, yeah. Oh, my
Daniel
God.
Tosh, when I was at UCF my freshman year, he did a comedy show there. I actually got to watch a live Daniel Tosh show and got to meet him my friend met him at the Tijuana Flats near the campus. Great dude. And in one of his bits, he's like, if you ever see me out with my family, just come up and say something dumb. And she did it. She went up right there in front of his kids and everything. So something really dumb and inappropriate. But he took a picture with her, smiled, laughed, had a good time. And that comedy show is great. I love Daniel Tosh.
So let's take it into the big time finish, guys. So subscribe to the Nimble W Numbers YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button, jingle the bell so that you get all the notifications when we go and drop something. We're probably going to drop more and more as we get closer to the season, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure you download the WWSRN app, Worldwide Sports Radio Network app. Go to hotboxbatch.com or bigtimeflavorcode.com. Get yourself a big time bundle. A sample pack there. Go to ViridianGlobal.com and check out the Hotbox and Big Time Flavor collection. I mean, these guys they kind of know what it's like, but Viridian Global's got the best merch. If Matthew Berry follows you and you're watching this, shout us out. Where all three of us need to follow for Matthew Berry because we talk great about him every show.
Love him.
He's my idol. Jordan likes Field Yates better. That's okay. Field Yates is pretty cool too.
He's cool.
And do you guys have any picantes as we run?
The hot takes. Okay, here's my hot take. I think there will be a shakeup in the quarterback draft that we do not see coming. I'm not going to say what it is, but I think there's going to be a wild shakeup. That's all I can say.
Woo! Wow, hot.
I'll say this. I think the whole, we have these first round grades on these guys. This is going to be the most unpickable first year because of COVID, these limited games, and no combine. And these GMs are going to overreact to these Zoom calls. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, awesome. Pac-12 still going to dominate. Conference of Champions.
Get out of here.
We're going to have Penei Sewell go in the top 5. We're going to have all kinds of good stuff.
You couldn't name a second. You couldn't name a second Pac-12 player going in the top 10. But it's okay. We're good.
Top 10. No, that's the only one.
you got Greg Newsome down there in the 20s, maybe, possibly. I don't know.
Javon Holland will go in the early second from Oregon.
Give me Richie Grant over Javon Holland. I said it. UCF proud.
Okay. Sure.
Hey, no, I'm not even kidding. Carolina, I think we'll end up taking him in the second. From
I'd rather
the
have
reports
that
I've
Johnson
seen.
kid from Indiana.
He's ball hawk.
Yes. Well, I mean, honestly, just so you guys know, we could go for another hour and talk draft
easily.
We easily can. The good news is, in the fall, we are going to be expanding the show. The show will not be 1 hour. We'll be talking more DFS, but it'll be like 2 hours.
Slate walk.
Yeah, we're going to get really into it. So thank you, everybody who tuned in. Our super fan, Brad. Always love Brad. He's the man. Appreciate you checking us out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Bo McBigtime, where can people find you and your products, good sir?
You can find me on Twitter at Bo_McBigtime. You can find me at BigTimeFlavorCode.com. Promo code Chalk21. ViridianGlobal.com/collection/Bo McBigtime collection. And on Instagram, BigTimeFlavor_. That's where all my filthy, unadulterated food porn is.
It's nasty. Mr. Vanek, how about you, sir? Where can people find you?
People can find me at Jordan Vanek 1, and the only thing I would like to shout out here is the mock draft charity contest I've got going. Sign up. I'll send you over a nicely formatted Excel sheet. You fill it out. I put it together, and then on draft day, I release a whole sheet where everybody can see what Scott thought and why he put Mac Jones going number 1 overall to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Just right on there. First one's wrong. It's okay, dude. We'll give you that.
We killed him.
You did kill me. No, please do go sign up for that. And I'm sure if you follow Jordan, is it in his pin tweet or is it?
Yeah, it's my pin tweet.
Right. And he's also, constantly encouraging people to sign up. You've got 6 days, as Bo said, until the draft. We can't wait. Now, I don't know about you boys. Are you guys doing anything on draft night? Are you on any shows? Anything going on with what you're doing?
I'll be working.
How about you?
I got a Panthers fandom show that I'll be getting on with Jeff Hazley and a slew of guests. He actually was going to keep it to Panthers, but we put some analysts on there because G-Man J, funneled in through the cracks. And now we got a bunch of other analysts coming on, like John, Fantasy Football Victoria, and great group of people. I can't wait.
Well, if anybody needs my services on draft night, I will be available. And let me just end the show on this note, because I think, we had fun, we had a good time, but I think it's an important message I think the fantasy community needs to hear, particularly the men. If you are going to be a creepy, inappropriate sexual harasser in this community, you're not welcome. You shouldn't be here. Don't do it. And I say that as somebody who's co-host of a show did it. And I didn't know anything about it.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't any of these guys. I'm gutted. I'm gutted by it. I feel so bad about how ladies were approached, treated, and experienced this business, this industry. And so I just want to apologize on behalf of my ex co-host and just say that I respect women. I stand with women. I'm a girl dad. I'm a sister or brother to 3 sisters. I love ladies. Ladies are what brought us here, and they're going to get us through all the things we need in life. Ladies are awesome. And in this industry, you're either pro women, supporting and making sure that they are being treated as equals and there's equality, or you're not. And so please don't be part of the not. Please be part of the people who listen to women, who respect them, who don't minimize their experiences and make them feel trivialized. They should feel emboldened and empowered to be themselves.
Show some freaking respect. That's all you got to do.
Please
show some respect for what they're doing. They're working just as hard as you, if not harder, because they're overcoming all the crap that they go through.
Yeah.
Show some damn respect. That's as simple as that.
And there's so many great ladies out there to follow too. And I can just name a few. Lindsay OK is awesome. Faith is great. The Ball Blast Girls. There's a bunch of people that you can follow who are amazing.
Millions.
Yeah, millions of people who you can follow out there who are ladies who are amazing.
Samantha Praviti, all the ladies out there.
Steffi got me off of Darius Slayton. I'll say that.
There's
they're
just
kicking ass every day. Take note and respect. Cooter Doodle, we love you.
And the Lions. I mean, there's so many of them.
The teapot's the best.
Listen, honestly, we should have a month or a week or a day when men just log off of Twitter and we let the ladies run all of Twitter because they're doing a great job.
They already do.
I know. We should bow out. And all we should do, though, is have a day of liking. Just like everything and retweet. We don't need to put our man's thoughts in there. Just go, man, I love that. Kudos awesome. Like. Oh, I love that. Linda Lyons, retweet instead of being like, let me tell you what I think, So anyway, I digress. We've gone over. I appreciate every single person who's checked us out, who's listened to any part of the show today. You've got a friend in the Chalk Blocked show in Jordan and in Scott and in Bo. We appreciate you guys. We love you all. We'll be back next Friday. Bo, do you have a guest next Friday? Are we going solo? What's the plan for next Friday? It is Draft Friday. Well, what are we doing?
TBD. It'll be us 3 ugly mugs. Draft night 2. And we're going to have some, we might have a special guest. I just haven't locked it in yet, but it'll be somebody who's knows about football.
Of course. And I let Bo speak for himself. I'll speak for myself as the better half of the world's sexiest DFS show for now. Not the better half, the better triplet. I don't know what it is. The better third. Yeah.
Triple.
The sexiest thurple here. Let me try it. Yeah. The less hairy of the yeah. Anyway, we've gone too far. We've gone too long. We love you all. We'll be back next week.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.